Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie, Q101. That is Jack White. And coming up in 10 minutes, we will give you the keyword again for a chance to go see Coldplay in Vegas, a free trip. So about 10 minutes away here with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. But first, it is time for Case's movie review every Friday. If you're new to the show, we started this because, now about almost a year ago, it feels like, Case hadn't seen any big movies. I got tired of making movie references like from Shawshank Redemption. He didn't know what I was talking about. So we finally said, start watching these movies every Friday and review them. That's why things like Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, Braveheart, he's seen The Mummy, he's seen Dirty Dancing now, he's seen Roadhouse. And you do realize and you know that you're a better person now, right?
I love doing this.
Yeah.
It turns out, here's the thing I didn't know. Movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was previously unaware of this.
Actually, it's funny because when I started here, I'm a movie person.
Yeah.
And I would bring up so much stuff, and you're like, I don't have time for that. I don't want. You were truly adamantly against participating.
Correct.
Because it wasn't just
I like
you
TV.
didn't see it.
Yeah, no, I consider myself to be extremely well-versed in TV history. Movies, I didn't know they were this good.
But now you know. And
The more you know.
with Spooktober going on, the last 5 weeks, he's done horror movies. And next week, it will be Halloween on Halloween. But we had a vote for this one, a listener vote, and you came to Blair Witch Project, which makes me so happy because this movie disturbed me to the core when it came out. And I'll give a little more detail on that, on why, because some people might be saying, well, why? And, well, let's just go back to 1999 with the trailer for the Blair Witch Project, which also was terrifying.
This is my home, which I am leaving the comforts of for the weekend to explore the Blair Witch.
I can see you.
I'm real excited about this. Thank you for the
I'm very
opportunity.
glad.
This area's been haunted by that old woman for years.
I don't know why you have to have every conversation on video.
Because we're making a documentary.
Not about us getting lost. We're making a documentary about a witch.
I know.
We're lost. Admit that first.
No, I know we're not lost.
You're all over the place.
So how do we know it was people?
Well, even if it wasn't, I'm not going to play with that either.
And it's all because of me that we're here now. Hungry and cold and hunted. Just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom.
Tell me where you are, Josh!
I'm gonna die out here.
Look at my arms. I have goosebumps on there.
Your hair actually is sitting over very hairy.
Very hairy.
That's that Lebanese arm, baby. You got some hair on that thing.
And you have to go back, and let's say someone listening right now hasn't seen the Blair Witch Project, understand what it was. And you mind if I give a little just quick intro, Case?
You have the floor.
Because it was a movie that was set up that it was a real thing that happened, and this footage you were seeing in the movie was real. It was sold as that in 1999, and we didn't have Twitter to say, doubt it. Someone to text that.
Oh, come on.
The internet was there, but there wasn't as much access and communication to calling things out. They set up a website, the Blair Witch Project movie guys that did this, that showed the footage of the cops getting the bodies out of the woods. And it looked so real that you thought, oh, my God, they're going to show the footage in a movie theater of what happened to these kids?
Could you imagine if it came out today and they were trying to package it as something so serious? They'd be like, in your Lost in the Woods era, like everybody's like roasting that. What are you filming that on, like an iPad Nano?
Spooky
Yikes.
vibes. It's giving spooky.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked, obviously. And
It's giving, why didn't you Google first? It's like, people would just roast. It would be awful.
fake news.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my God.
And they'd also say, God, Heather, stupid. They would do those kind of comments on it. But it was so, when I went in to see this in an early screening, I was sold in my head that this was real footage of these three kids that went in the woods hunting a witch, and then they died. And also that the footage was so shaky from real cameras, that set the vibe. And this is the first movie to do that from camcorders, that it looked and shaky. I remember people were leaving the theater throwing up because of the jumpiness of the scream. But anyway, I wanted to set that up in case people don't know why this terrified me, that I'm not some, little wuss. I mean, All right, Case, now take it away, Blair Witch Project. I'm sorry I had to do a little preamble.
I'm glad you did, because part of the reason our listeners decided they wanted me to do this, like I had a conversation on Facebook Messenger with Joe from Berwyn, who's a great crew member, and he was like, you're not going to like this movie. You're not going to understand why that is. And I said, Joe from Berwyn, I think you're going to be wrong. I'm coming into the Blair Witch Project with an open mind, and I am happy to say that I really, really like this movie.
Okay, good. I'm happy. That makes me happy.
It has a few things going for it. We'll go point by point here, because there's like 3 different things that I can point to Blair Witch and say, I liked this about this movie. Number 1, it's like the first vlog there ever was. This is essentially a Mr. Beast YouTube video. And if this happened now, you'd have the guy doing the YouTube thumbnail face where he'd be like, lost in the woods, all caps, and then he'd grab his head and be like, oh, yeah. It's essentially a vlog, and I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing this movie has going for it, one of the things I really liked, it is 80 minutes long. That is what I'm talking about, baby. Braveheart was a godforsaken 3 hours. They could have wrapped that movie up in 80 minutes, too. This was under an hour and a half. I ate my leftovers yesterday. I watched Blair Witch, and by the time it all settled in my tummy, I was like, oh, the movie's over. This is wonderful. Every movie should be 80 minutes long. I'd be a film buff. I'd be Siskel and Ebert if every movie was 80 minutes long.
Okay, you've made your point.
Now, the thing about the Blair Witch Project, because I've seen this one, I believe it was the 2016 one. I've seen the others.
There was the Book of Shadows as well.
I've seen that.
The second one.
I've seen every Blair Witch.
And that one was terrible. That's the sequel. Immediately after they tried to capitalize. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so 1999, the original, and then 2016 was still good, but it wasn't as scary because you knew the gist. Like, you knew what was going on.
Like you said, you can't pull it off later.
But what's good about watching it is when you're at home and you're all snuggled up and you have your food, you've never been more grateful. I'm like, boy, am I happy I'm right here with my Snuggie, because they look so cold and so hungry.
Yeah.
And I just bite next to a fire. It's awesome.
It's the type of thing that I would never do. I don't ever want to be in the woods. I don't have that calling. I'm never like, oh, let me go scope something out. I'm good. I take a photo of it. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want leaves crumbling under me. I don't want to jump over a creek to get to my next destination point. That sounds awful.
So this verified that for you not going in the woods ever.
No, to me, this was a life lesson. This is don't do this or else this will happen.
Yeah, what else about the movie what stood out to you?
So one of my favorite movies that we've watched during this project, like I love Shawshank, I love Pulp Fiction, I also loved Jaws. And this movie has the Jaws thing going on where you never really see what you're supposed to be scared of, which makes everything scarier, actually. Because I still don't, was the witch there at the end? What I don't know what happened at the end of the movie, but I think that's good. I think that's intentional. It left me very spooked by the time things faded to black.
I wanted to see that witch so bad. Mm-hmm. I've never been more frustrated. Like, shut the damn witch! Turn around!
I can give you a little hint here. You know she was in the movie.
In what way?
So early in the beginning of the movie, when they're interviewing people before they go into the woods, there's a woman named Mary Brown who they interview who tells a story. It's almost like a little bit like Friday the 13th, like, don't go in the woods. Everybody dies in there. Well, we're going to go in anyway.
Yeah, they just mocked that guy.
That's what she does. It's an old lady, and she's talking. Yeah. And remember, there was rumors that she was the Blair Witch, and she lived in the town, and she's the one that went and she looked like a witch, too. Her name was Mary Brown in the movie.
She's an innocent woman who got interviewed.
Well, she's a witch killing kids and people, so.
Well, she told him not to go. Why would she try to save them if she's the witch?
Also, allegedly, she's a witch that killed a bunch of kids.
Okay, allegedly the Menendez brothers killed their parents, too.
They have a complicated legacy, a lot like the Blair Witch, Brian, and O.J. Simpson.
I mean, why would she try to save them? She said, don't go.
Well, she was saying, don't go in the woods, but then they did, so she then laid it out on them.
But if you're a witch, wouldn't you be like, you guys got to check this out?
Honestly,
that's too obvious.
Like,
you can't do that.
It's Carlson in there. You got to see this.
Then we got video games and snacks. It's awesome.
They'd be like, well, she's obviously the witch. If people she's doing that routine.
Guys, I think we found her.
Yeah, she's right here. 4832 Main Street. So yeah,
it's a really enjoyable movie. I love the shaky cam aspect of it. It's a lot like The Shining in that it's a very loud movie, a little too loud at times.
Boy, you have a thing with sound.
Well, I don't know if I should start wearing earplugs when I watch movies in the same way you wear earplugs when you go to a concert. Some of these movies are just so loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, no. I like sound, and I like that surround of the woods. And, it's funny. Allie checked in on our text line and said that the Blair Witch walked so Paranormal Activity could run.
Oh, yeah.
My God. That movie jacked me up because also, much like the Blair Witch, I'm like, well, this happened and this sucks. I was so scared.
Yeah, and this started that kind of movie.
And Cloverfield.
Genre.
Did you ever see Cloverfield?
Cloverfield as well.
Very good.
Yeah.
Love it.
I loved this movie. I feel very comfortable, of the horror movies that we've watched, right? So I didn't really like The Shining. I thought Scream was pretty cool. I didn't really like Nightmare on Elm Street that we watched last week. I loved Friday the 13th.
Yep.
I would put this a level below Friday the 13th and Scream, but a far better picture than the writer's block that led to the Shining guy killing his family or the travesty that was A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is like a solid, this feels like a 7. You know what I mean? This is a good, Blair Witch is on, throw it on. It's only 80 minutes. I'd be more than happy to watch this again.
Is it 7 camcorders or 7 witches?
Oh, what a great question, Brian. I think it's 7. It's 7 witches out of 10.
Okay.
It's 7 witches out of 10.
All right. I'm glad you. It seems like you're definitely like it. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes had this about 86%, and a lot of people were checking in and it sucked. Some guys said it sucked, but my sister saw it and she came into my bed. I had to sleep with my sister for days because she was too scared.
Wow.
Yeah.
That didn't happen to me.
No.
Your sister didn't drive to your house and sleep in your bed?
Or just a woman. My girlfriend, it would have been nice if she got scared.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know, it's too bad. But thumbs up for the Blair Witch.
She may have been scared, but she may have been texting someone who she thought could help.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.